What is up, guys? What's going on? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Yak Pack Outdoors. And yes, check it out. This is another episode in the pool. You guys already know the deal. Unnecessary. Anyways, like I was saying, yes, this is going to be another episode in the pool. What we're going to be doing today, listen, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be putting the Googan Bait Mondo Worm. I want to see the action on this thing, okay? Now, I bought a pack of these, and I haven't really got to use them yet, but what we're doing, I just want to see if they're good. You know, they're bigger, they're like your 10-inch, like bigger worms. I feel like they're going to be really good. We're going to find out here in just 1 second. Let me grab what I need out of the truck. I'll see you guys by the pool. All right, so while we get this rigged up, what we're going to be doing, you guys already seen it in the thumbnail, Googan baits. We're going to do it with some weights and without some weights, you know, weightless and Texas wig. That's a new style of fishing, the old Texas wig. The Texas rig, weightless and weighted. We're gonna check that out. That's my favorite way to do soft plastics because you never know the type of situation you're gonna be in where you're gonna need a weight, you might not need a weight, so I like to show you guys what it looks like with both. I'm gonna be learning as well because I've never seen these underwater, right? I bought this and I haven't used them yet. I've used it, I literally tied it on and used it once and put the rod down because the lipless bite picked up. But anyways, we're gonna check that out. All right, check it. Listen, if you're new here to the channel and this is the very first video you're ever seeing, one thing I need you to do right now, take your left or the right thumb, does not matter. Thumb punch that red subscribe button, okay? Turn that little notification bell on, that way you can be notified every single time I upload a video. And another thing I like to do is question of the day. I ask you a question, you answer in the comments, all right? I like to get to know you guys, okay? Especially if you're newer here to the channel, welcome. You are now considered a yak packer, okay? So part of the Yak Pack fam. All right, so question of the day today. Where is one place, doesn't matter where, in the world, we'll say, where is one place you've always wanted to go fish, but you've never been able to go fish? You know, I will let you guys know my answer to that question down in the comments below. And all you got to do, just answer wherever. Doesn't matter where it is. It could be Lake Comadero, Mexico. It could be Lake Fork in Texas. It could be Altoona in Georgia. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be a lake. It can be wherever you want it to be. Where is one place in the world that you have always wanted to fish, but you have never been able to do so? Okay, with all that being said, I'm gonna hook this tripod up. We're gonna get started. I'm excited about this one, guys. Let's go. All right, guys, as you can see here, the very first way we're gonna do this with a, I believe this is a 3/8 ounce. This is a Woo tungsten weight, okay? We're gonna get into some Woo tungsten here later on, trust me. This is some really good stuff, guys. But anyways, it's not what this video is about. 3/8 ounce Woo tungsten, the 10-inch black with blue flake Mondo worm. Now, one thing that I will point out to you guys really quick, you can see here that it's attached. Now, will this bait serve a purpose with if you leave it attached? Yes, I believe so. But for today's video, we're gonna get the most action out of it that we can. So we're gonna go ahead and detach that. It's just gonna be a 10-inch curly tail worm, basically. Let's hook this up. We're gonna do weighted first, or weighted Texas rig first, and then we're gonna move to weightless. So let's see how this looks. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, that water is ice cold. So the bag says open, sniff, catch. So obviously I opened and I sniffed, but I'm not gonna be catching any fish today, clearly. So what does this smell like? This smells, if you've ever used missile baits of any kind, okay? Missile bait destroyer is like my all-time favorite creature bait. So it smells like missile baits. It's got that, like, I don't know, I expected a garlic smell, but it's completely not a garlic smell. I can't put my finger on what this smells like, but I do catch a lot of fish on the missile baits in the way they smell, and that's what it smells like, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so first up, what we're gonna do, if you notice here, I do not have my weight pegged, okay? I don't know if you guys can see that well, but I don't like pegging tungsten, or I don't like pegging my weights unless there's some really thick grass that I have to get to. So I always keep it weightless. And my philosophy, my theory behind it is when this weight moves and this worm chases that weight, it's gonna make it look like to a fish, this worm is chasing a meal, okay? Or this creature of some sort is chasing a meal. And the bass is gonna think it's distracted and that's gonna be an easy meal, so it's gonna pick this up. That's just my theory behind it. You know, everybody's got their own opinions, their own thoughts, and that's what I believe. So we're gonna do this first. We're gonna look to see what it looks like if you just regularly, you know, you pitch it out and you fish it just like a Texas rig. You like hop and skip it. That's gonna be step number one for us. All right, so let's see what this looks like. I'm just gonna pitch it right out there. We're gonna let it sink. And right there, you guys could see that when the weight was falling, the worm was chasing it. So that's what I preach it. You know, let me back up a little bit so you guys can get the view. Man, that thing slithers like a snake. I mean, it looks pretty good, especially with the tail being a lot more thin. It just gives it that. And I know you guys can hear something that I'm going to point this out in another video, but that tungsten weight, you can hear that. So that's another video for another day. But that curly tail on this worm, man, it's crazy. All right, so let's give it one more of those type retrieves. Then I'm going to show you guys another retrieve I like to do with curly tail worms. So we're just going to pop it, let it sink and sit. So I usually pop with slack line rather than tight line. That's just what I find to work best to get the most action out of these baits. But man, I'm going to tell you right now, that tail, that looks good. There's quite a bit of action on this, you know, the lower third of this bait with that tail. The upper, you know, 2/3 of it are pretty solid. Another thing that I just noticed right here is that the bait actually stands up somewhat. Now, yep, okay, so another thing I noticed is the bait actually kind of stands up in that lower third. So it's got a lot of action to it. All right, so next up what we're gonna do is we're gonna pitch this out, right? We just pitch it out, and we're gonna slow roll retrieve it. And then, you know, it's just another type presentation you can use to catch more fish. And we're gonna see what this tail looks like while we're retrieving it. We're gonna see how wild this tail gets. So let's pitch it out, and then I couldn't tell from here, but I know for a fact you can see it on the GoPro, so we're gonna do that again. It looks kind of stiff from here. I don't know, I can't see the GoPro right now, so I don't, you know. All right, so let's try it one more time. All right, so it's kind of stiff. It looks stiff to me. The tail, okay, now I can see the tail moving. So the tail on the top of the water is definitely moving. Okay, so the tail's moving. All right, so let me rephrase what I just said. Okay, so there's a lot of action on it in this portion of the bait. Let me wrap this up. In this portion of the bait, there's a lot of action while you're just reeling it in. I believe you get more action out of it fishing it like a regular Texas rig. I believe you would probably catch more fish using it that way. But let's go ahead and cut this weight off, and let's try it weightless and see how much that affects it. All right, so we've got her tied up weightless right now. We're gonna see how this looks. It all depends, in my opinion, okay? Now, when will I fish a weightless versus a weighted worm? And honestly, just from my short experience, you know, I'm no pro by any means, but what I like to do when I like to fish weightless is those dog days of summer, the really hot days where you're gonna have to fish slower. There's a helicopter. Anyways, like I was saying, the dog days of summer when it's just super hot outside, you know, that's when you're gonna wanna fish the weightless worm. That's when it's gonna look its most natural. You know, a lot of these worms are made to be fished weightless because with a weight on them, it pulls them a different way. It gives them kind of a different action. So weightless, you're gonna get the most natural action and you're gonna fish it a lot slower. And when that water temperature, you know, it gets up there and it's really hot outside, those fish are gonna be a lot more, you know, not as active during the, you know, the middle of a hot summer day. But anyways, let's check out the 10-inch Mondo Worm weightless. All right, we're just gonna pitch it out and we're gonna do the same exact thing. We're gonna let it fall, nice and slow. Okay, so from what it looks like up here, it's got a very, very slow rate of fall, which is good, which is very good. You're gonna get those fishes. 99% of the time, they're gonna hit this on the fall anyways. So we let it fall, we let it sit, and we just pop it. So that tail, again, this tail is really good. I'm really digging that. So it wiggles a little bit, not as much as I would like, but again, that tail is what's really gonna make this bait, in my opinion. Because if you take the tail off, it's a Senko. Oh man, that's deadly. Yeah, so with it falling just like that and that tail just fluttering like that, that's gonna catch a fish's attention. All right, we're gonna try it one more time, and then we're gonna try it on a slow retrieve. Back up some so you can get some better camera angles on the GoPro. So we let it sit, we just give it a pop. And that tail, looks really good. Yeah, with that tail fluttering like that, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be a fish catcher for sure. All right, let's give it a couple times with the regular retrieve, no weight. We're gonna see how that looks. So we're gonna let this bad boy sink down in the water just a little bit. Let it sink a little bit more. Give it a nice slow retrieve. Okay, so something I've noticed, weightless, there's more action on this bait when you slow retrieve it rather than hop and skip it. Weightless, it's got a lot more action in the tail section. I feel like the reason being behind that is because that weight in front of it is kind of weighing it down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that looks good, weightless on the retrieve. I like that. I'm digging that. It's pretty good. Okay. All right, guys. So my final thoughts, my final opinion on the 10-inch Mondo worm. Good. Definitely good. There are other things out there, other baits out there just like this. You don't have to go out and buy these just because of what you saw here today. But if you feel like you can go out and catch fish on these, absolutely, I highly recommend it. This will be something that I will be keeping in my pond hopping bag, or my tackle bag, if you will. I did a video on that the other day. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. But it was a pond hopping essentials, what I think you need to go out and have fun with your friends and just jump pond to pond. This will absolutely have a place in my bag for sure. For those hotter summer days, I think I'll be able to catch some fish on this. One thing I will mention really quick, the hook size that I'm using to get the most action out of this worm throughout its whole body, this is a size 2 hook. Now the fish is gonna have to eat this whole worm. And usually what I've experienced and what I've seen is the fish will eat from the head first. So you're gonna get that hook set, you're gonna get that hook in that fish's mouth regardless. The majority of the time. Sometimes you'll get short strike and they'll get the tail and whatnot. But the majority of the time they're gonna strike right up here at the head, that's exactly what you want. That's why I use a size 2 for a 10-inch worm rather than like a size 5. Use a size 5. I'm gonna try to explain this guy to you guys the best I can. If you use a size 5, see how there's no action. So this is the hook right here. There's really not a lot of action right here. It's because it's pinned itself, right? You've pinned it with this hook. You use a size 5 and you're down here, you're gonna pin this much of the bait, so you're not gonna get that much action out of it. I hope that makes sense to you guys. And if it doesn't, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video on that and try to explain it a little more in depth or better. Maybe I'll try to see what the difference is in hook size underwater. But with all that being said, guys, thank you again for watching. Thank you again for tuning in. I greatly appreciate every last one of you, okay? Again, if you haven't, go ahead and thumb punch that red subscribe button. Left or the right thumb, doesn't matter which one you do it with because it's free. Turn that notification bell on. That way you can be notified every single time that I upload a video. Thank you again for watching, guys. We'll catch y'all next time.